Final Destination Bloodlines has got me scared to ride behind tractor trailers again in their new installment, so let's get into it. Hello everybody and welcome back to Dice Movie Reviews. Y'all, so today we're going to talk about Final Destination Bloodlines. Now the way I'm going to be doing this review is the first part of this is like an overview of it, like non-spoiler, and then we're just going to talk about the film as kind of like whatever stuck out to me type thing with like major plot lines, and I'll give a warning for when the spoilers come up. So Final Destination Bloodlines is like the 6th installment film in this series, okay? This has been a series that's been going on for quite some time. There's a new twist, if you will, in this new film, and it's basically they're following a family as opposed to like a group of friends, and we're looking at more of like a generational type situations that follows along the bloodline, hence Bloodlines. Now we're going to meet the protagonist, who's a college student who is essentially the vessel that pushes the storyline through and whatnot, and she does an excellent job with this. Now this is a film that we rely on like very classic elements, formula type things, right? And it maintains the series formula, if you will. It's very, suspenseful. It's very elaborate death sequences. You're kind of figuring out the little puzzle as you go along and how is this going to happen, and they absolutely live up to that in their fashion, and they do an amazing job in this installment. The cast to me all felt really likable. I felt that they were really interesting people. I felt like it was appropriate as well as to how much we got to know each of them for a film like this. So while the stakes were like up there, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is becoming like a personality movie or anything like that, right? Like you were invested, but as much as you need to be invested to care about somebody dying or being like, oh my gosh, I hope the final destination gets to them next. Now it also definitely pulls in and gives nods to the films before it, but again, it's also a very fresh take on this whole genre, this whole series, if you will. And from what I can read from like the actual like professional reviewers and whatnot, I mean, it seems to be going over very well with people, right? As well as viewers like you and I. So overall, now obviously by the time you're seeing this, it's out of the movie theaters. Overall, did it make me put my phone down? Absolutely, right? I loved every second of this film, y'all. Definitely watch it. Definitely watch on the big screen. You are going to love every minute of it, and it's going to make you want to go back and watch the original ones, because that's what we ended up doing. And so when a movie does that, you know it's good, right? The acting's good, the death scenes are good, the twist is good, the plot line's good, the puzzle, if you will, is amazing, right? So 10 out of 10, would do it again. Go see it as soon as you can. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the key plot points. So if you have not seen this and you're like, oh my God, I totally want to check this out, you need to either come back to this video after you do and talk about it, or if you don't care, then go and listen. But on the count of 1, 2, 3, we are now in spoiler alert territory. Okay, so we're going to talk about some of those key plot points. So in the very beginning of it, there's like this opening premonition, right? Like back in the 60s or something like that. And there is a character, I think her name's Iris, and her fiance and her attend like this very grand opening of this restaurant, right? I think it's the Skyview Tower restaurant. To me, what it was giving was that Seattle, whatever that building is in Seattle with a little point or whatever, it was almost like it was supposed to be that, okay? So they go there, right? And then while they're there, Iris has this premonition that the glass, there's like this big fancy dance floor and it's glass. This is like, back, I felt like it was set in the 50s or I think 60s or whatever it was, but it had that whole vibe, right? So there's a glass floor and it's supposed to be fancy. Well, something ends up breaking it. There's a gas leak. You know how the whole thing goes, right? Like little things happen. There ends up being this massive explosion and the whole thing collapsed. Like all these people are dying and whatnot. And so you're seeing some of these people. Well, then all of a sudden, this girl wakes up and she was dreaming about that, and enter the college student, okay? And I believe her name was Stephanie in this. So this would end up being Iris's granddaughter, okay? So she is plagued by this nightmare of that 1960-something disaster, okay? And this becomes a thing. She's like losing sleep. She's like, oh my God, what do I do? Like the typical thing. She's like, I know what I'll do. I'll go home and solve this problem. And we're kind of like, okay, yeah, I would have like maybe taken some Xanax and like gotten some school counseling, but we wouldn't have had the movie if we didn't do all that, right? Okay, so she goes back home and her father, who is Marty, and his brother Charlie, you know, they're back home, obviously, whatever. She has extended family all there. And so she's gonna like investigate this dream and find out like what's happening, okay? So then there's like this little family reunion type thing, and she's going around, and you can tell there's like some weirdness of like, well, you went off to college and forgot us with some of the people and other people not. So she ends up kind of reconnecting with, you know, extended family, okay? So side note also, I think her mother, there's like this weird thing with her where she had run off at a certain point. She'll come back into the thing. But we're talking about, you know, uncles, cousins, all these people, okay, are coming in and introduced as character. So when she starts telling the family members and getting to it or whatever, you know, they're just like, listen, you can't be talking about all that here, because they know, and they're like, oh God, Iris, like what was up with her? Like, you know, we can't be doing all this, right? Like something's up with that, you can't speak of that, how do you know about that? We don't talk about it. Well, one of them has like this book of letters from her. She ends up giving them to her, right? And so she's like flipping through all these, you know, things from Iris and reading them. Well, then she finds out that Iris lives in like this secluded compound somewhere, okay? And she's like, I have to go to Iris to find out what these, like all this stuff is, right? Like where are we at? What are we doing, okay? So Iris is there, she gets there, you know, it was giving Halloween, the newest ones, where, what's her name? The woman who plays Lori, I can't believe I can't think of it right now, was living in that house. It was very similar to that, right? So when she figures out like, oh, hey, you're my bloodline, whatever, she's like, get in here, right? So she's like, yeah, I actually foresaw that tower collapse. Like, that's legit what you're dreaming about, okay? But I prevented it from happening. But then all this really bad stuff started happening. So I started making this notebook and tracking death's pattern, because basically everybody that was there was supposed to die, okay? So, and it's been chasing death down and their relatives and this and that and well, it's come down to like they're the last ones or whatever, right? Okay, or there's maybe some other dude, I can't remember his name, but like death is finally catching up to him, right? Okay, so when she's telling the college girl this, you know, you can see all these things happening in typical fashion of these movies where you're like, oh my God, don't stand over there. Oh my gosh, don't do that. Well, when she comes outside and she knows she's gonna have to prove to this girl, like, here we go. So she comes outside and basically a weather vane ends up impaling her in the head or whatever, right in front of this college girl. And she's like, oh my God, right? You can only imagine. Okay, so then we're in it, right? Death is targeting this bloodline. With her gone, with Iris gone, it starts going after her, like the kids, the descendants, all these people, right? And the order that they would have died. So it's like there's this very particular order of like, you'll be next, you'll be next, you'll be next, whatever. Okay, so the deaths start coming, okay? Now, when the college girl, when she goes back home, it's like, oh my God, y'all, look, this is like super bad. We're all gonna die. Of course, they're like, oh, please, girl, like whatever. Well, then they're having this little family cookout. If you've seen the trailer, you know what I'm talking about. And one of them, Howard, he dies from this like completely freak lawnmower accident. It's totally sick during the barbecue. So he's like the first to go. But still, some of the family is like, that's just like a freak accident. We don't believe you. Then Julia, when I think her cousin or whatever, she gets crushed in a garbage truck compactor. And then they start kind of being like, okay, well, maybe there is something. So then there's two cousins. There's Bobby and Eric. One of them, I was just gonna say this, like one of them, you'll see there's some twist in here that I'll kind of leave out, right? In case you do want to see this, whatever. But there's something with the bloodline and one of them that you're like, huh, why didn't they die? That comes out. Anyways, they die in like this gruesome MRI machine incident, okay? So then we have like, we're getting down to like just the couple of people here, right? Everybody's getting knocked off, okay? So with her trying to basically like create a loophole and figure out, she runs into a dude who was also like another survivor of the situation. And he was this little boy who was in the premonition and all this type of stuff. So he's basically sitting here and he's like this. He's like, look, girl, you can cheat death if you kill someone else, okay? But this is the only way to get out of this. So obviously they're kind of like, you know, maybe I should do this or that. Now she of course is sitting here trying to like figure out how I can save this person, save that person. And the MRI death was all part of, I'm kind of jumping around here because this one has me like really excited. So the MRI death was all part of the, we're gonna kill you, right? It was this whole thing of like, okay, look, we're gonna sneak into the hospital. We're going to basically stop your heart. That's gonna make you live, blah, 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 right? Well, it backfires on a couple of them. Anyways, so they're thinking, oh, wait a second, like, you know, maybe we got this here, whatever. So fast forward. So with all this going on, main character energy is thinking over here, oh, wait a second, you know, I cheated it, I won, I beat it, right? Now I'm getting ready to major spoiler alert here. So then there's this whole final scene where they're going and basically they are told like, no, it's kind of hard to explain, but this person they run into is like, oh no, you didn't actually die if this happened to your heart. And it's this moment where they realize, oh, wait a second. So I didn't cheat the system. I didn't do the loophole. They didn't die. Well, right then and there, all this stuff starts happening, right? Basically all the stuff that's like coming together from all the previous films, which is, it barrels literally at you in this final scene. And it's kind of, you know, like, okay, I guess they died, right? It leaves the door open definitely for another one. Okay, so there's like the main talking points here, okay? Now, here's the thing. So, again, with this, 100%, if you were into this kind of film, you need to go see this. You're gonna love it. To me, films like this, Saw, that have these extreme formulas to them, they work. And sometimes they don't, and sometimes they're way past their prime. This one was like, okay, good. Now, I can't say if they come up with another one, is it gonna be like, you went one step too far, right? But definitely revisiting this whole franchise and the way they did with this was amazing. It was so good. You're going to get, if you want a Final Destination film, this film will give it to you. Now, I didn't go over all the major spoiler alerts. I left out some plot points and whatnot, so you're still safe there. If you're like, oh man, I already listened to this, there's still going to be some like, what in the movie or whatever. So yeah, just know that. Anyways, if you've seen it, let me know in the comment section. If you haven't, go watch it and then come back and let me know in the comment section. And until we gather back around all this horror stuff back here and these reviews, I'll see you soon.